Well, thank you for joining us for Good Day Atlanta. Sherry is coming up next. And remember, we're streaming throughout the day on our website, fox5atlanta.com, on Fox Local for your smartphones and streaming devices. And you can listen in on the Fox 5 Radio 1 network. You can
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being on the stream with us today on this Friday, April 24th. I'm Elise Edie. So a lot to start with today, but of course we are going to begin with what's happening at this point in large parts of South Georgia. Those wildfires are burning out of control in many, many areas, and a lot of areas, too, continuing to grow. Two of those largest wildfires, in fact, collectively have burned more than 34,000 acres, and the bone-dry conditions from the lack of rain are just making everything so much worse. So a big effort right now to try to get some of these flames under control at this point. Haven't had rain in a long time. We are expecting some this weekend. You got to hope that that'll make a difference in what we're experiencing. But we spoke with a county manager who is talking about, what residents who live around these areas are experiencing. So let's listen to what Joey Kaysen, the Brantley County manager, had to say about it.
Sure that you're all aware that our commissioners and all of our folks that are working here in Glenn County are extremely concerned about our citizens, for the folks that have lost their homes, for everything that's going on right now. And as I said yesterday, this is a dynamic situation. This situation has changed in the last hour. It went from being something that they were really working on mopping up to a very hot fire that could jump another road while we're standing here. So just understand, with this wind, as I said yesterday, it creates a really difficult situation. It creates a difficult situation for the tractors. It creates a difficult situation for our firefighters that are in front of it. And it's changing. It's changing momentarily right now. So for one point, to make sure, we want to make sure everyone continues to go to the sheriff's Facebook page for ongoing updates. Is that better? So we're doing everything we can to get the most recent information out on that Facebook page. Our PIO folks are doing a great job on that. But understand, we will have these types of conferences as Kristen feels like we need to update with more important information. So first of all, we also want to make sure, we've discussed it yesterday, I'm going to say it again today. We have folks that have been told to evacuate in the last 10 minutes. We need folks to understand they need to be prepared to evacuate. This is a dynamic fire that's changing. Right now we do not have any major issues on the south side of Highway 82, but on the north side we do. But we could have situations on the south side 82 if the wind were to shift within a couple of hours. So understand, they need to be prepared. They need to be prepared to go. They don't need to wait. If they get the evacuation order, they need to leave. Basically understand the fire has intensified. It's moving west-northwest right now, but that wind has just shifted. I don't know if any of y'all have felt that, and it could move more northerly. It's going towards Drury Lane and the Bay Harbor church areas. We have crews currently working to protect homes between Browntown Road and Highway 110 north of Highway 82. Understand, we currently have now 87 basically living spaces, living places that have been destroyed. If this fire doesn't shift, we could have more than that before dark tonight. But 87 homes, living places, dwellings have been destroyed. We have basically a strong response. We'll let Georgia Forestry tell you exactly how many they have, but they have a huge contingent of folks here. Right now, we have a total of 228 personnel on scene. That includes law enforcement, that includes firefighters, and we've got firefighters from all over South Georgia. They're continuing to come in. So we had some that have been relieved, and we have more that have come in. We currently have basically 6 brush engines. We've got 35 personnel or more with Georgia Forestry. He'll say more about that. We've got 25 fire trucks, 12 tank tenders, and 10 brush trucks on scene. So this is a huge endeavor. We also, after the governor announced a state of emergency for this area, we now have a GEMA team here that's on site that has brought additional resources. Right now, we're in a situation where if this continues to grow, this could become a FEMA event. It has not yet been declared, but that could happen. So be aware, this situation is continuing to be fluid. It's not a really good situation for the folks that are in front of this fire.
The occupants inside were found approximately
and not what we were wanting to hear in just the message that he's sharing with us. Again, that was Joey Kaysen, Brantley County manager. So, you know, a lot that we heard from him about what conditions are looking like on the ground right there. So you might have been seeing and hearing about rain that's expected in the forecast for us, which is great news for those of us in the metro Atlanta area. But the problem with that is that, you know, the wildfires that we're seeing in South Georgia, they are not expecting to get rain. So certainly concerning when they desperately need it at that point. And in just a little bit, we'll check in with our meteorologist, Jonathan Stacy, just to kind of let us know, you know, what we can expect here and what conditions will continue to be like for them there. Also want to share with you, our Tyler Fingert is en route right now. He's going to Waycross, Georgia, so he'll be able to give us a view throughout the day on what he's seeing and what he's hearing from residents who are impacted by the wildfires that are burning right now. If you caught this at the top of the show, 34,000 acres from two of the largest wildfires are burning right now at this point. So certainly a big problem. And then at 1 o'clock, we're expected to hear from Governor Brian Kemp just to give us an update on the lay of the land, you know, the resources being used right now, his message for Georgians. He has, of course, issued a state of emergency due to the wildfires that are currently burning right now in South Georgia. So we've got you covered on all of that, of course. But we're going to switch directions now at this point and share with you the details of what we know about a horrific wreck that happened. One person is dead. Another is in the hospital. This is after a fiery crash that happened in southeast Atlanta. So the car hit a utility pole before bursting into flames. And soon we'll be able to check in with our Kim Leffler just to let us know what happened. But my takeaway from this at this point is that this is relatively new news that they are saying that one person has died in this crash. And can we take the video so we can at least see, show folks, you know, what we're seeing? Yeah, one person dead in this. And if we... Incredible, you know, that they're saying one person at this point even survived. So we are working to get you the very latest on what is happening with this. But again, this is a deadly crash that happened in southeast Atlanta. The car hitting a utility pole before bursting into flames. So we'll have the latest on that in just a little bit. How about this? Our time is 11:07, and we are going to be back for you right after this. Well, welcome back, everyone. All right, if you're just joining us, there is a terrible crash we want to share with you. And just the details of what have come out of this, some updates. One person dead, another is in the hospital. This is after a fiery crash that happened in southeast Atlanta. So the car ended up hitting a utility pole before bursting into flames. The impact from that is absolutely horrific, and our Kim Leffler is joining us live with what we know about this. I was saying earlier, Kim, I mean, this is new news that they're confirming one person died, which is honestly no surprise when you see what the car in the aftermath of this looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I just confirmed with the Georgia State Patrol that the passenger of this vehicle has succumbed to their injuries. The car was actually split in two. We saw it towed away from the scene here right around 9 o'clock. The car landed right there, right in front of the White House there to the right. You can see crews still on scene this hour working to get everything cleaned up. Now, here is what we have learned from the Georgia State Patrol. At around 2:50 this morning, an Atlanta police officer, they say, was attempting to conduct a traffic stop on a white Infiniti Q50 that we're told was suspected of being involved in vehicle break-ins. That's when we're told that car took off. They traveled over a raised pedestrian crossing, lost control, and traveled off the roadway. And that's when the Georgia State Patrol says the car struck the power pole, coming to the rest in the yard of this house here behind us. The driver was ejected, and we're told the passenger was removed from the car by Atlanta police. We're told the driver sustained serious life-threatening injuries, and again, that passenger unfortunately did succumb to their injuries. Now, here's a little more from one of the firefighters that we spoke with shortly after the crash this morning.
Approximately 80 to 100 feet down the road. They were in the care of Grady Ambulance and APD. It definitely appeared to be a high rate of speed for the car, just due to the damage and the fact that it burst into flames when it made contact with the power pole.
Now, while troopers were on scene a little bit earlier this morning, we saw them examining several pieces of evidence. I spotted 2 guns, bullets, as well as some cash. Georgia Power was also on scene here not long after the crash, working to get power restored, and we did speak with some residents that have been kind of coming out this morning, just looking at the scene, and they said that their power was out, but it was back on later on this morning. But again, we do know one person is dead following this crash. Elise.
Terrible tragedy, and just horrible to see, what was done to that car and a life lost in all of this. So, Kim, thank you so much for filling us in on the details of this. We appreciate it. All right, let's turn our focus now at 11:12 to the forecast. If you were watching us at the top of the show, we're talking about the wildfires that are currently burning in South Georgia, a really big problem. So we've got rain in our forecast here, which is great news for us to try to put a dent in some of that deficit that we're experiencing. But will they get rain where they really, really need it in South Georgia? That's a big question that we need some answers to. So our meteorologist, Jonathan Stacy, is joining us with what's happening today and what's happening over the weekend as well. Jonathan.
Many questions as to what is happening here, but a lot of concern about what is happening down south, because we are in need of some rain here, but they are doubly in need, if you will, down south, especially where those wildfires continue to rage across northeastern Georgia. I ran in here, was doing some work in the other studio. I hustled. I had to get some pep in my step and make my way in here. But here's the state of things down there. I want to get this wildfire information to you, if we can go ahead and pop this up. And this gives you an idea of what they're dealing with right now. Actually, these numbers have been updated. We're in the 30,000 plus acre category for the Clinch fire. Brantley now taking a bit of the attention because it's just in a more populous area, now above 5,000, but they both stand at 10 and 15% containment at this time. That's just not good news. And what you see here is these larger specks of orange continue to grow bigger, and that is a sign sign of more acreage being covered by wildfire. As you can see, the larger one closer to Valdosta there in Clinch County near the Eccles County line as you get down into extreme south Georgia. But then you have the fire in Brantley County, which is a bit closer to the I-95 corridor wedged between Waycross and Brunswick. Once again, more people live in that area, and that's why you're hearing more about evacuation orders. Rain has been something we've been looking forward to for a very long time. I'm talking about more than a month in some cases, but also it's been in the forecast for the past week. And so the big question has been, okay, we're going to get some rain, how much we're going to get, but then rain came of ultimate necessity, especially when you talk about the state as a whole and where wildfire continues to be a very big issue. Now, just to be blunt about it, rain is coming, but to South Georgia, I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the numbers here so you can see exactly what the smoke and particulate matter situation looks like in terms of creating that haze or that distinct smell in the air. Don't really see it being a problem today for us because winds are coming in out of the southwest, and there's a pretty robust wind field that is pushing energy south from the southwest to the north and to the east. So it's going to be the Carolinas that continue to really experience the bulk of the air quality issues, and also can likely see a fairly prominent haze, especially in and along the South Carolina, Georgia state line. But Savannah, Brunswick, all in conversation, go all the way up to Augusta, Columbia, South Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina, dealing with air quality issues as a result. I think this paints a pretty good picture here of the air quality situation. We're not out of the woods here in Atlanta, but we're at moderate, which is just a step above being at a pretty kind of even kill state. But Savannah, if you're going down there, maybe even to Macon, you're going to find that the air quality is a problem. So if you're in one of those sensitive categories, cardiac issues, respiratory issues, you're going to want to spend more time inside than outside, especially during the afternoon hours. But some much needed rain is coming. You can see that exceptional drought riding the Georgia-Florida line, and that is the epicenter of the wildfire disaster. In terms of rainfall that's coming over the next 7 days, it looks like the exact opposite of what's needed will occur, with the heaviest and the highest rainfall amounts expected across northwest Georgia in contrast to southeast Georgia. Southeast Georgia expected to get the least amount of rain. Just the irony of that is just something that really rivets the mind. So let's talk about our situation for the weekend and how the rain reacts to the atmosphere here. So you can see here we got some moisture that's coming in. I'm going to actually take this and give you a bit of a slowdown view here so we can time all this out. So, okay, so there's some activity that tries to come in. I can do all this stuff kind of like on the spot here, at least. So, okay, maybe something jumping out around 3 o'clock this afternoon. But I think we can go to bed unscathed, no issues. Waking up tomorrow morning, most of us are dry. 3 o'clock in the morning, I think most of us are still asleep. But you may hear some rain on your rooftops across extreme northwest Georgia, rolling over I-59, I-75 to the north and to the west of the city. It's now 6 o'clock in the morning. Early risers may be out and about, but you can see here, not much rain out and about, but some rain is entering the picture as it crosses over from the Alabama state line. It's now 7 o'clock, and this is why I'm telling you, don't throw your Saturday away, because there are very few spots, even at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, that have rain. So we'll be watching the radar very closely to see how things go. But even as you get into the noon period, yes, we have been preaching, forecasting, talking about predicting rain for Saturday. But this is what, in the final hours leading up to Saturday, this is what the picture looks like. It does not look as rainy as it once was indicating in terms of the modeling. Now we're into the afternoon. There's enough humidity in the air. Dew points are up, air temperatures are up, and so you're going to kind of have that pop-up variety shower and thunder shower activity. 1, 2 o'clock. The skies may turn gray right underneath you, and you know what is going to happen in short order. They'll open up, giving way to a shower or two. It lasts for about 15 to 30 minutes. It's in and it's out, and you're able to recover whatever you were doing before the rain started. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that's what you have. Overall, I think today's rain chances are a bit aggressive. We're going with 60%, but that could easily be a 40% chance across the metro area. So we'll keep our eyes on the radar at least. But once again, this weekend, my main statement is it's not a washout. I think by the time we get here on Monday, most communities will have gotten less than an inch of rainfall.
Okay. At this point, we need whatever and whatever we can get. It's that bad.
We'll take the squeeze.
Yeah, we certainly will. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy with us. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Okay.
We appreciate it. Okay, our time is 11:19. Now, 3 people have been indicted in connection to an attack on a construction company that helped to put together what's called Cop City. Police say that this group of people firebombed the company's office, trying to stop progress on that facility. So our Mark Teichner went to Cobb County to try to get to the bottom of this.
Well, as the building behind us that was allegedly targeted by this trio, Attorney General Chris Carr says the reason they attacked the place is they were trying to put pressure on the company to break ties with that training center.
A Cobb County grand jury has returned our latest indictment regarding the training center.
Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr announces charges against 3 people who he says attacked the builder of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center.
Katie Marie Cloth, Tyler John Norman, and Hannah Cass, all 3 charged with 2 counts of criminal damage to property and 1 count of arson.
In May of 2022, the suspects allegedly showed up at the Brassfield and Gorey Cobb County offices and tried to firebomb the building, setting off a brush fire in the process.
They threw incendiary devices at the building, damaging property, setting fire to the surrounding land, and attempting to intimidate and terrorize those inside.
All 3 defendants are from out of state. The Attorney General says they are members of Defend the Atlanta Forest, a group that unsuccessfully tried to stop the training center, which they call Cop City. He also claims the defendants are part of Antifa. This isn't the first time Carr has brought charges against Cop City protesters. In December, a Fulton County judge threw out the AG's racketeering case involving dozens of defendants, saying Carr didn't have the authority to bring RICO charges.
We fundamentally disagreed with that decision, which is why we immediately appealed that dangerous ruling.
Fox 5 reached out to the Defend Atlanta Forest folks to try to get reaction to this indictment. Weren't able to reach anybody. If we do get a statement from them, we'll bring it to you right away. Reporting from Cobb County, I'm Mark Teichner, Fox 5 News.
11:21 now. All right, racing is about to get underway at Talladega. Huge deal, of course. So Fox News Live's Asher Red is in Alabama ahead of the race to show us around and tell us what we can expect this weekend. So Asher, good morning to you. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, Elise, and fans are ready for it. We're talking about 200 miles an hour, inches apart, sometimes even 5 wide in these incredibly steep turns. And you never know what's going to happen at Talladega. Some of the drivers, their haulers just came in and they've got some cars lined up getting inspected by the officials right now. They're putting them in their pit stalls ahead of this weekend's race. Now, qualifying will start on Saturday, so tomorrow morning, as these drivers try to clinch their spot in the standings for this starting lineup. And then the green flag's going to wave the following day, Sunday at 3:20 p.m. Eastern time right here on Fox. Now, it's also important to know this is a very high-stakes race for the drivers here. It's only the 10th race of the season. There's one driver, Tyler Reddick, who has won 5 of those 10 races so far, and they don't want him to win again. Some of these drivers don't want him to win again because they want to clinch their spot in the top 16 before Daytona comes around in August, and by that time, it'll really be go time to put themselves in that playoff standing. Elise?
Right, Asher, so they call this the fastest track in NASCAR, which is really saying something. So for those who may not know, I don't know. I mean, how fast are these cars going? You know, if you think about some of those curves, they are flying around those. So what do we know about the speeds that they're hitting?
They're hitting 200 miles an hour, so these cars have what's called restricted plates on them that restricts the airflow through the engine, which these cars can go much faster probably than 200 miles an hour, but these plates reduce that down and keep it at a safe level. Now, I'll tell you that around us, we have these bankings on the side. This is the tri-oval right here that I'm standing in front of. It's 18-degree bankings, but the steepest banking in all of stock car racing is right here at Talladega in its 4 turns, and that's 33 103 degrees. I don't know if you've seen the videos of people trying to walk up that banking, but it's kind of entertaining to watch, and they can barely do it because it's so steep. But they're engineered in such a way that allows these drivers to maintain 200 miles an hour without losing traction, and they are unleashed. The whole track in front of them, 2.66 miles, 188 laps, 500 miles.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm so glad you mentioned that too, because you can't tell how steep it is unless you do see the people trying to scurry up it, and then it gives you that idea of you know, the angle at which they're going. So in some of the video we were just showing a little bit ago, we see RVs, you know, we see trailers that are out there. So this isn't just like a show up. For many people, show up the day of the race kind of thing. They're out at the track for, you know, a week. So have you seen any of the campgrounds, Asher? Have you talked to any folks who are camped out?
Oh yes, this whole town is a campground right now. I'm in the infield right now, just right next to pit road, but they actually let people camp in the infield, in the track. And so some of the folks that I caught up with yesterday that were playing a game of poker, they agreed to talk with me about what they were going to do this weekend. They were from Indianapolis, came down to Talladega for the first time, hanging out by turn 1 actually. And you know, they said that, you know, they came in, I believe it was Wednesday. Other people came in to the campgrounds that are outside the track on Monday. So some people take a whole week vacation just to do this. And you know, I didn't realize how many people actually camp out here until I was driving in this morning and I saw all the smoke in the air from the campfires from last night. The whole place was just like, you know, a blanket of smoke on top of it.
Yeah, a time is being had, no doubt about it. So I can imagine, you know, being there is so much different if you've had a chance to be there on race day than watching it on TV, which is also great, you know, watching it. But share with us like what the energy is like. I mean, is it as electric as you hear it is when you're there in person, Asher?
Oh yeah, I've been to many races here. I grew up, you know, between Birmingham, Alabama, and Nashville, Tennessee. So it was pretty common for us to make the trip down here when Talladega would have a NASCAR race. And I'll tell you, when they come out of turn 4 and they do this restart right here over my left in the tri-oval area, and you hear the engines rev up for the first time, and then the next lap they're coming through actually at 200 miles an hour. You feel it in your bones, like your whole body just starts, you know, you feel the cars rumbling, especially if you're sitting right up on the track. And a fun fact, if you sit too close to the track, you might actually get some rubber pellets on your arms from the tires.
Boy.
That's how fast they're going. The tires are literally, are literally, you know, shedding its rubber as they're driving.
That is so interesting. Okay, so do you have a favorite driver? I mean, not to put you on the spot. You don't have to share with us, but is there anyone you've got your eye on for the weekend, Asher?
Absolutely. You know, I'm a Chase Elliott guy. I like Chase Elliott because, you know, I was a Jeff Gordon guy. He retired. Jimmy Johnson retired. Then Chase Elliott was just the next one. My dad was a Bill Elliott fan, so it just makes sense. And plus, he still is in that Hendrick Motorsports club for any of those NASCAR fans out there. Hendrick Motorsports is the team I like to side with.
There you go. I love that you were honest with us about it. So we'll see what happens with all of this from Talladega this weekend. Asher Red hanging with us today. Asher, thank you so much. It was good to see you. We appreciate it. All right, our time is 11:27. So you've heard us talking about these wildfires that are spreading in South Georgia. Really big problem at this point. The lack of rain certainly not helping things. But an impact of this is going to be insurance premiums going up for homeowners. So we're going to talk about that next. Welcome back, everyone. 11:29 now. So our top story today, we're talking about the wildfires that are burning in South Georgia. So let's get into just a few of the details to put into perspective what they're dealing with at this point. It's tearing through Brantley County currently, destroying dozens of homes. It's forcing folks to have to flee. Shifting winds are creating a dangerous environment for crews on the ground. So you can see the damage has been done in so many of these areas, and crews are working to try to protect neighborhoods at this point. Several of these wildfires burning. We're talking, dozens of acres that have been burned. I think in one area, 35,000 acres and growing are currently impacted by this wildfire. So there are about 228 firefighters and law enforcement that are working this particular fire. It's only about 15% contained. So we're hearing that Highway 82 is open, but it could end up getting closed down again if smoke and fog make it too dangerous for drivers. So emergency officials have described this as a dynamic situation. They say it is a very high threat environment, and strong winds are pushing the flames north and northwest. So evacuation orders have been issued. It's not clear how many residents, though, have been forced to leave, and officials have not confirmed the specific locations for emergency shelters, but that information is expected to be released this evening. And we also don't know the cause of the fire, as the damage assessments are still underway. So still a lot to figure out. Rain could certainly help, but there is not rain that's in the forecast for this weekend, unfortunately. But, along with the talk of these wildfires and the impacts that it's having on homes, you have to think about what this could do for insurance premiums for these homeowners who are impacted. So we've got joining us now Insurify Senior Economic Analyst Matt Brannon joining us just to break down, what we could be looking at and some ways to prepare as well, what homeowners should do next. So Matt, thanks so much for joining us today. Good morning.
Sure. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So this is a tough situation, for a lot of people, but the impacts aren't just in South Georgia. This is something that statewide we could be feeling the pinch when it comes to our premiums here. So kind of walk me through how that can be the deal. I think a lot of folks think that they're in the clear if their home is not directly impacted by a wildfire. So how could it still touch them?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, insurance all comes back to balancing risk and the rates that insurers charge. And this wildfire and the series of wildfires represents an increase in risk. So basically, there's more property at stake now. It's become more evident that there's more risk and greater chances of home being destroyed, greater chances of higher property value at risk. So as we see more of these wildfires and drought conditions, it just creates a situation where insurers are very conscious of how risky some of these properties are. They're always trying to balance how much they charge with the risk they face, and premiums that are too high could drive away their customers, but premiums that are too low could put them in really dangerous financial position if they run into a big surge of claims like they have happened during wildfires and hurricanes and big events like that. So these rates do tend to follow events like these, and higher rates, a wildfire in one area could cause higher rates in other places as well.
Yikes. I'm so glad you mentioned other natural disasters, too, because we see tornadoes. There are folks in Georgia who are impacted by hurricanes and the damage that those can bring as well. So for those who do find themselves, in a situation where their home is negatively impacted by a natural disaster, what's your advice for them?
Sure. So there are still steps people can take to try and limit their insurance costs, even if they're in a risky area. So comparing rates across different companies, different insurers have different goals, so they charge different things depending on the time of year and how their business is going. So it's worth checking. Also, Georgia is one of at least 10 states that has a program where if you upgrade your roof to be more strengthened against severe winds, this is especially important in hurricane-prone areas. Georgia will require insurers to offer you a discount on your home insurance, or at least the wind portion of your home insurance. So that's something that customers or that homeowners in dangerous areas can look into.
Yeah, certainly something we all need to be taking note of at this point. Do you think there's any long-term changes, Matt, that could, we should expect to see when it comes to the insurance market here in Georgia?
I would say over the last couple of years, there definitely has been a trend of insurers spending more money on claims, and spending more money on claims often means higher premiums for homeowners. So basically, Insurers try to spend about maybe 60% of what they make in premiums on claims. That's okay, they can do that. Last year in Georgia, or rather in 2024 in Georgia, insurers spent more than 100% of the money they made in premiums on claims. So they spent more money on claims than they made in premiums, which put them in a dangerous financial position, which can often lead to higher rate increases. So Hurricane Helene was a big example there with more than 100,000 claims.
Yeah, certainly so. Any other takeaways, that you think that would be helpful for folks to know about right now?
It's just really important to know the risk of your area. So FEMA and other government agencies have maps that show what risks your home might be facing. In Atlanta, maybe it looks more like hail and tornado risk. Hail has become much more of a threat in recent years in terms of the amount of money it's racking up in insurance claims. So it's something homeowners should keep an eye on, especially in terms of their roof. You want to keep an eye on updating your roof and possibly, when you can, strengthening it against severe weather to limit claims and limit your insurance costs.
Yeah, really quickly, Matt, tell us about Insurify.
Yeah, so Insurify is a website where if you want to figure out if you're getting the best possible deal for your car insurance or home insurance, you can type in your insurance information and it'll show you a range of quotes from different companies. That way you get a little bit of a sense of peace of mind that you're not overpaying. A lot of people just default to staying with their current insurance company, but as things are volatile, it's worth checking.
I'm intrigued. That is something I will certainly do just to make sure things are on the up and up there. Matt Brannon with Insurify. Matt, thank you so much. We sure do appreciate the help today.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
All right, our time is 11:36, and we are back with more for you right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. So as firefighters continue to fight those wildfires that we're talking about in South Georgia, Cumming Police are working together with the community to try to collect donations in order to support their efforts. And our Maria Guzman is at one of those collection sites with what we can do to help firefighters in this very good cause. Maria, good morning.
Hi, Elise. Good morning. It's a very eventful day here at Cumming because, one, they are celebrating the grand opening of the police department, as you can see right behind me, but two, they are collecting those donations here. Now, it begins today in just about an hour, and it's going to continue all the way until Wednesday. Now, it is hosted by the Cumming Police Department, and here are some of the items that they are requesting that are going to help the firefighters and first responders who are responding and fighting those wildfires in South Georgia. So those items that you should be able to see on your screens are items like bottled water, electrolyte drinks like Gatorade or chapstick, wet wipes, beef jerky. Now, these items will be delivered to those first responders on Thursday, and the police department is asking and requesting people to drop off those donations right here at this new building. And so I do have the address for folks at home who do want to help and drop some, just drop off some donations. So that address is 481 Merchant Way, Cumming, Georgia. Again, 481 Merchant Way, Cumming, Georgia. And city leaders tell me that this is a drive that they've done in the past like these. They did one for Hurricane Helene, and they saw a lot of people show up and donate. And so they have a feeling that they're going to be able to collect a lot of donations for our first responders in South Georgia, at least.
Easy things that we can do, but that'll make a very big difference. So I hope folks will pick up some of those items to help out. Maria Guzman telling us all about it. Maria, thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. Okay, let's get you to some of the headlines that we're following for you today. Beginning with this one, 2 young children have died following a drowning accident. This happened at a home in Cordell. It's according to police. Officers say Crisp County 911 got that call at about 11 a.m., April 22nd, and just reporting a possible drowning at a home on Aberdeen Circle. So first responders got that call. They showed up there. They found a 3-year-old and immediately began life-saving efforts. Both of the children, actually, they found 2 3-year-old children. My goodness, began life-threatening, life-saving efforts there, took the children to the hospital, and that's where they died. So authorities are saying multiple agencies did respond to this scene. GBI has been called in to help with this investigation. Police are asking the community to keep the children's family in their thoughts at this difficult time. So again, I'm trying to wrap my head around the details of this story as well. First responders found 2 3-year-old children. They had drowned at a home in Cordell. So incredibly sad. Let's get to Lilburn now. This is where a Lilburn man is facing several charges after some fires broke out in Loganville, March 26. So this is who we're talking about on your screen here. Authorities say a spree began around 2:16 with a brush fire on Logan Drive, and that was followed by a fire at a commercial building about 15 minutes later. According to Loganville Fire Department, flames ended up consuming some kind of a strip-style building with a fire-rated wall that saved the other half of the structure. So at least there's that. Loganville fire marshals determined the fires were set on purpose. So the man you're looking at here is identified as 42-year-old Javon Hurd. He is the suspect, and he's currently being held in the DeKalb County Jail, and he's facing arson charges in all of this. It looks like several of these agencies worked together in order to bring about this arrest, and it looks like this same guy was arrested March 17th on arson in the first degree, fleeing, obstruction, improper burning, and hit and run as well. So just an update on that story. And now to this one, a former Georgia State representative will have to fully repay the amount of money she stole from the government by fraudulently taking pandemic unemployment benefits. This is the word from prosecutors. We're talking about Karen Bennett, who represented House District 94 until retiring last year. She's going to have to repay $13,940 in benefits she received, plus a $1,000 fine and a $100 assessment. She did not get jail time, though, instead sentencing her to time served, and again having to repay this amount. But this all came from COVID funds that they said that she misappropriated. So yeah, a sum there she's going to have to repay, but will not have to go to serve any more jail time for those alleged crimes. All right, I've got some breaking news to share with you at this point. It looks like the chopper is up right now, Sky Fox 5. Rockdale County Sheriff's Office responding to Salem High School in reference to a safety threat. So here's the release from them. It says, out of an abundance of precaution, the school was evacuated as our deputies searched the school and investigated the incident. All students are safe, they're saying. They have been relocated to another staging area while the investigation is ongoing. They go on to say this is an active investigation. Information will be released as it becomes available, and the school will send messages to parents with further information. So yeah, a lot of questions, obviously, but they are saying this is from the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office saying Salem High School has been evacuated as deputies search the school and investigate the incident. So we, of course, will stay on top of whatever is happening now at Salem High in Rockdale County. So be sure to stick with us for that. And something else we also have our eye on, of course, things for you to do this weekend. So stick around for a few ideas to help you out. Welcome back, everyone. Our time is 11:47 on this Friday. All right, so Atlanta is making a major push in order to host the 2028 Democratic National Convention. This would be interesting. So leaders from the Democratic National Committee, they were here yesterday and they were touring sites around the city, and they focused their search, no surprise here, around State Farm Arena and the surrounding downtown area where, of course, this would go down if it comes here. So the city is competing against, looks like Boston is on the list, Chicago, Denver, and Philadelphia. And this would be high profile. It certainly would be. Mayor Andre Dickens says that Atlanta represents the party's future, and he points to Georgia's battleground status, its diversity, and recent Democratic wins, including that 2020 victory for Joe Biden. So the DNC is expected to make a decision after reviewing site visit reports. A timeline, though, has not been announced just yet. The last time the city, though, hosted the Democratic National Convention was back in 1988. And I heard a clip earlier today of the mayor, talking about the confidence he has. He's pretty confident that they will go with Atlanta. So we will certainly see what the decision is. If it's us, if it's Boston, Chicago, Denver, or Philadelphia. We shall see. All right, so this is one that a lot of people are excited about, guys. Due to overwhelming demand, Usher and Chris Brown announced they are adding an additional show to their Atlanta run for the R&B tour, Raymond and Brown. They're going to do 4 shows now at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So they started out with 2, and then it was a couple days ago they announced the 3rd. We are up to 4 shows that they'll be doing here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that new date is November 11th, joining the previously announced Atlanta stops November 7th, 8th, and the 10th. Pre-sale tickets at Ticketmaster.com are available now. I haven't had a chance to hop on and check ticket prices. I'm pretty curious where they're sitting at this point. But general sales start Monday at noon. So if you were wanting to go to the show, which apparently a lot of people are, it looks like you're in luck with another show added to their tour stop here in Atlanta. So we've been talking a lot about things, about weekend events and about what's happening this weekend. So we have joining us now our Fox 5 digital journalist, Joyce Lupiani. She's created a list of things to do to get out and enjoy the area. So Joyce, happy Friday to you. What's happening around town?
Hi, Elise. Yeah, there is a ton of things happening this weekend. We have a huge list on our website. So the first event that I wanted to mention is one of my favorites. It's a loom mine over at the Oakland Historic Cemetery. So if you've never been, what they do is they light up a bunch of the historic graves and the monuments there, and then they bring in local artists and local performers, and they have like food trucks and like a wine bar and beer, and it's all at night, which is unusual because the cemetery is usually closed at night, and you can just like walk around and enjoy the music and, get some food to eat and look at all the beautiful graves and the trees and the flowers. And it's really cool. It's like a great thing to do for like a date night. So that is happening like all weekend. Another really great event here in Atlanta is the Inman Park Festival. And have you been to that?
I have been. Yeah, that's a big one too. I mean, that is huge.
Yes,
it's a good one.
They have like this really fun, kind of funky parade in the morning. And then there's like a huge arts and crafts festival. One of the really cool things about that, I don't know if you've done this, but you can tour like several of the historic homes that are in that neighborhood. And these houses are like absolutely beautiful.
They're amazing.
Yeah. They are definitely amazing. So if you haven't done that before, you should definitely check that out.
Very nice. Okay, hold on. Before you go on, where did you tell me? Because I was doing other stuff and I was trying to listen to where did you say that cemetery is? The first one that you were telling us about. I didn't catch
it's the Oakland.
Oh, duh.
Oakland
Okay,
Cemetery.
Of course. Okay, there we go. Okay,
yes. Yes.
Got it.
There's a bunch of other stuff too. This is like festival season. So we have the Spring Jonquil Festival out in Smyrna. Marietta is having their Taste of Marietta. Lake Lanier is having like a huge boat show. And then last but not least, I like Jeeps and cars. So, yep, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of car shows going on. And a lot of these car shows are actually benefits. So like there's the 23rd annual Mud for Blood, and that's happening at the Appalachian Gun Range, which is up in Jasper. And like you can go up there and like donate blood, and then after you donate blood, you get to go like ride their trails. And that's for cool. Anybody. Yeah, it's really cool that has a 4-wheel drive. And I kind of know these people. These are not like public trails. So, unless you're invited, you can't actually go on these trails. So it's kind of like really
a little exclusive.
Special.
I love it.
Right. It's kind of exclusive, but you do have to donate blood. I think if you can't donate blood, you can make like a cash donation, but you have to kind of do something. You just can't go out there unless you do something.
Right.
And this is the 23rd annual. So they've been doing this for a while. And then,
are you going out there? Are you going to go?
No, actually I'm doing something. No,
okay, that's
doing
cool.
Something else. I might stop by after, but I am doing something.
Okay. One more deep question, because I know you're about to move on to something else. Do you have? And I haven't seen your car, Joyce. Do you have the ducks that are along the front of your car? Are you is that? Is that what we're
doing? I do have the ducks.
Love it.
And my Jeep is actually Buc-ee's themed. So
Are you serious?
Yes, I have Buc-ee's stickers and license plate.
That's awesome.
It's kind of obnoxious, but I'm kind of an obnoxious person sometimes.
You are not. You are not, but I love that about your car. Is there a red one? Do you have a red one? Okay, that's you. I've seen you in the parking lot. Okay, there we go.
Firecracker red.
Yeah,
it is
of course.
Bright red.
Of course it is. I love it. Okay, what else did you have on the list? You know, one thing you haven't said yet, and I keep waiting, Joyce, and I'm feeling some kind of way about it, okay? So I live in Dunwoody. You haven't said anything about Lemonade Days this weekend, which is awesome.
Yes, it is on my list.
Okay.
I mean, there are multiple festivals on the list, and Lemonade Days is on there.
Yeah.
So that's one I have not been to. So if you actually know something about it, I mean, you could share that, but it is on there.
It's fun. I think it's 4 to 10 tonight, I believe, because I'll probably head back out. And then the weekend, it kind of runs all day. There's like the horses, there's tons of rides. Get your kids an armband or tickets and have a good time. Benefits the Dunwoody Preservation Trust as well. I think there was one. Oh, did you say something else to me, Sam? No. Oh. He's saying 2 and show, Joyce. Okay, I'm done interrupting you. So was there any other events that you got your eye on that we need to know about?
No, the only other thing I was going to mention back to the car shows was like East Forsyth High School is having their annual car show, and it's to raise money for the school.
Very nice.
Like I said, most of these things are to raise money or, do something good for the community. So, it's definitely, you can go out and have fun and do something good at the same time.
Yeah, some good stuff, Joyce. Thank you so much. It's going to be hard to choose what to do, but you've given us some wonderful ideas. Joyce Lupiana hanging with us on this Friday. Happy Friday, Joyce.
You too.
Of course. Really quickly, if we have a chance to take that shot from Rockdale County, let's do it. I can see we still have Skyfox 5 that's up in the sky right now. So we shared some breaking news with you just a few moments ago. Salem High School, some kind of an incident has happened here. Rockdale County Police, they've released very little information about this, but they did say out of an abundance of caution, they have evacuated the school. Doesn't look like, I'm not seeing students outside, so it looks like they've allowed them to go back inside the building. Again, that's not confirmed, judging strictly by what I'm seeing right here on Skyfox 5. They say parents will be notified of whatever the situation is. Look like signal is lost there. But again, some kind of situation happening in Rockdale County at Salem High School. So we, of course, are keeping our eyes on that for you. And perfect timing here as we take a look right now out over downtown Atlanta really quickly. Enjoy things now. Things are changing for us weather-wise for the weekend, which is good news. We need the rain that's headed our way here in the metro area. Hopefully we get enough of it to put a dent in drought conditions, expecting anywhere between 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain. So be sure to stay with us for the latest on all of that. The noon show's coming up next. Happy Friday, everyone.
Fox 5 News at noon starts right now.
We've just learned new information about a fiery Southeast Atlanta crash. Hate to say it's now turned deadly. And Georgia's Attorney General announces charges against 3 people who he says attacked the company behind the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Jonathan?
Rain chances finally returning to the forecast, but the models are starting to be a bit more conservative on the amounts. We'll take a look at what you could get next to my Fox 5 Swim Team forecast.
But first this hour, Governor Brian Kemp is headed to South Georgia to tour the wildfire damage there. Good Friday afternoon, and thank you so much for choosing to get your news from us. I'm Alex Whitler. Right now, crews are battling fires all across South Georgia and North Florida, and we want to tell you the